Oh boy. So most of you probably read the title and are like, how dare anyone disrespect the universal time? It's the best game ever. I will rain hellfire down on you. But before you go crying in the comments, you should probably actually watch this full video because a lot of the points that I bring up are objective facts, and if you're a fan of the game, you should want this stuff to get fixed or reworked so that the game doesn't join the ever-growing graveyard of dead JoJo games. So with that said, let's just get right into it. So why is a universal time dying? Now the game used to be averaging 130k players consistently, but that has dropped as low as
Flappin' Flotsam, what's that?
and decreasing. Now that is by no means dead or anywhere close, because if you think about it, that's actually an extremely impressive number, like 40k people playing one game. But regardless of how you look at it, it's still a pretty big drop off of nearly 100k players. Now, at first I thought it was just because, school has started for most people, on weekdays, obviously you're not going to be playing Roblox as much. So I waited until the weekend to actually see if the player count would go up, and needless to say, it did not. Of course it went up a little, but nowhere near over 100k like it was before. So why is this happening? I think I have a few pretty good ideas. So first, I'm going to talk about the gameplay and the inherently flawed progression system. So we've seen this 1,000 times before. Basically, you get a stand, and then once you get that stand, you're able to fight with it, show it off, enter rank, stuff like that. A basic JoJo game. Now once you're done with that stand, you can either store it or you can reset it to possibly get something better. Now, there's really nothing wrong with this formula at all. There's games, real games, that use basically the same formula. Hell, I just described basically every mobile game ever to exist. The games like this can definitely work. But here's where a universal time fails horribly with the disappointing progression system. Now, it might be cool once to fight Dio, but if I have to kill Dio 3 times every single time I want to get a rare stand, I'll tell you it gets very, very old. And the progression inherently is just the same thing. All you have to do is do X damage to this person, take X damage, do this amount this times. It's really just the same thing over and over again. And the Killua update made this very clear that they have no plans of changing this at all. Now the other way you get items in the game is just you go look for chests, and then these chests you just click them and then you have a rare chance of getting a rare item. And that's how you progress with stands like Alta-Star Platinums, Made in Heaven, all of that. I'll tell you, it is really, really, really boring, and I don't think that this is a good progression system. And the reason I say that is because this, and I know this from a first-hand account, if a new player joins the game, they see Gojo. Now they're like, wow, that Gojo spec looks really cool. What do I have to do to get it? Now they're probably expecting, oh, you have to get to this level, or you have to do this boss battle, or other normal game stuff. But when you tell them, oh, you have to deal 1 million damage to this and get 1 million money, it's like, come on, like, nobody wants to do that. Nobody has time for that. And the people that do want to grind that, well, guess what? They already have everything that they want in the game. As soon as Killua released, they got that within 1 hour, and they really have no other reason to be playing the game, because the arcane is only fun for so long. It's about fun for 30 minutes after you get the new ability, and then after that you store it and then you never touch it again. And that's really the main problem with it, because it's not rewarding for the people that actually spend time in the game, nor is it rewarding for the people that don't spend time in the game, and there's no middle ground. And that's the main reason why I think that this progression is very, very flawed. Now, I'm not implying that the game should go put a bunch of bandit NPCs in for people to go level up. No, not that I think that having to deal damage to random players or killing Dio a bunch of times is any better than that, but I do think that there is a way to make a game like this and to do it well. Now, the game that I'm going to compare for this is actually Lumion Legacy. Now, I know the genres are a bit different, but if you think about it, Lumion Legacy is just a game where you find the Lumion, that those are the monsters in the game, kind of like stands. You get one, then you can go fight players or you can go fight NPCs. And the reason why Lumion Legacy has so much replayability is because it's got that Pokemon style genre, and the reason why people want that is because there's lots of different variations with each Lumion, and the progression is you're getting lots and lots of little stuff along the way. Now, it's not just one NPC you have to fight like Dio over and over again. There's different NPCs and lots of stuff, and it's just really rewarding to actually fight something, then to be able to use it, and that's why people like playing games like those. Now, when the game tells you to go grind something or to go look for it, you know that you're in for a ride, because it's going to be something interesting. You're going to have to do a dungeon or something, or you're going to have to actually look for it, not go click chest over and over again until it spawns. And that's why I think a Universal Time should really take the mastery system from different games. You know, that's what I really like. Maybe even something kind of like the battle pass from a lot of other games like Fortnite and all that. I know it sounds silly, but imagine a battle pass that you'd get from doing ranked in a Universal Time, where you could get different things, like you get a Requiem arrow from it at certain tiers. Imagine how fun that would actually be. And again, I say with the gameplay, there's really no variation in anything. You go into ranked, you already know what's going to happen, and I'll talk about it more in the PvP section. But overall, it's just like the same old. You're just doing the same thing, use the same abilities over and over again. But that is not the worst part about the game. Now, a Universal Time released, and it was the most buggy game I've ever seen in my entire life, and these bugs are, it might even be the biggest reason, even bigger than the progression, why people quit the game. Because whoever you are, a new player, an old player, if you get on the game, you see your stuff is reset, you're hopping off. It's as simple as that. Even more so if you're an old player. If you're a tryhard, got every rare stand, you come on the game, boom, stuff is gone. You're not playing the game. Like let's be honest. Now, they tried making all these excuses. Oh, it's the player count. Oh, it's this and that. Blatant lies. We all know it. They just don't know how to do data stores, and it's really sad. Now, as if that's not bad enough, all the data bugs, they'll be saying, oh, we patched this data bug, so people are like, oh, let me go store my rarest stand that I had on me. I'll store it now because they said that they patched it, but then they just haven't. Then they get it reset again, and that's absolutely ridiculous. Apart from that, there's a bunch of other glitches, you know, glitches with ranked, glitches with just small stuff, like you use an ability and it breaks you. I think that the bugs, like people were saying that this was like a polished game, and that's why I expected, like I knew obviously a new game is gonna have bugs, but so many bugs to the point where people don't even use the stand storage system in the game out of fear of getting their stand reset. Like what? Like okay, so and one of my friends that's a veteran player, he was talking to me, and then he gave me Reaper when the game just started, and he said, oh yeah, don't leave the game with it or it might reset. I was like, what the hell? I was like, how bad is the game that there's all of these bugs? And I think that is another really big factor, that before content, before even making Killua, before you make anything, they should have got that squared away, and the fact that they didn't is probably why the player count is really tanking. But at least we have the endgame content to look forward to. So, you are an old player of the game, you have grinded for everything, which admittedly is pretty fast if you just stay on the game, which is another thing that makes the game pretty boring, as I already mentioned. For old players, you'll get everything you want really quickly, but besides that, you're at the endgame content, so you have trading and PvP. Now, most of the skins in the game are unobtainable, so you'll go trade for it. Oh, well, would you look at that, there's really no way to trade at all because the universal time trading server is closed and trading either bugs out or does not work half the time. So yeah, I guess trading is not an option, not that you'd even want to, because if you're trading for the PvP aspect, it just does not matter, because all you really need is Goku or just something busted like that. And one of the biggest lies I was ever told before the game released was that the PvP was gonna be balanced. Am I missing something here? This is some of the most unbalanced PvP I've ever seen. Now, it looks cool, it's flashy, it's aesthetically pleasing, it's really awesome, you know, you got the sound effects and everything. But if you think this is balanced, you're genuinely brain dead. Like, there's really nothing else I can say to that, because this is just like ridiculous. Like, I went and ranked and I was like, is there something I'm doing wrong here? Like, this is like way too easy, because I used Gojo that I was given, and then I used Goku. Now I got an ego because I thought like, oh wow, I must be really good at the game. But no, it's just stupid busted abilities like the domain expansion. Why is that not like I don't even know, that should be like an ultimate. Like, you just have to build up to that. You should not get a free 100 damage when you're low health. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and the infinite combos are not fun to do, and they're not fun to fight against. So the PvP is just actually like really bad as a base like gameplay mechanic. I just hate the amount of time stops as well. It's just like really annoying. Like for me, the PvP is just not it. And as I said, it looks cool, but it's not it. And then there's always the people that whenever I bring this up, they're always like, oh, skill issue, you're just not good at the game. It's just like, no, it's like you cannot be good at the game, because you can button mash and then you'll be good to go. And this comes back to the PvP, because button mashing with Star Platinum, you'll probably beat 90% of the stands that are in the game. So it really doesn't matter. Like, it's just like, why should I even grind for this really hard to get stands such as Made in Heaven, when I can just use Star Platinum and press G on my keyboard over and over again and just win the fight? Like, I really don't know what to say. Like the system needs some sort of rework, and as a PvP person, that's what I was mostly looking forward to with the game, and I was super disappointed. So in conclusion, why do I think a universal times player count is plummeting? Well, that is because the lack of substance and replayability. Now, as I said, the formula can work, but it needs a lot of things in between to make it fun. And apart from that, there's just really not much to do, not much replayability. So a lot of people, they played in their first week, they saw their friends playing, big new game, they tried it out, tried to have all their fun that they could, and then they left. It was simple as that, and that's why I think the player count is going down. But a universal time does have one of the most dedicated communities I've ever seen, so I really don't think it'll ever be truly dead, not for a while anyway. Now, that said, do I think it's a bad game? Of course not. If you think that Universal Time is a bad game, then you're just hating on it for the sake of hating, because it's an aesthetically pleasing looking game. The PvP is decently fun, even if you do think it's slightly unbalanced, but compared to a lot of other games, the balance is pretty good. It's just that the main problem was people were overhyping it. I don't think that's the fault of the devs. I really think it's the fault of YouTubers and other players is why the game just, for a lot of people, it did crash and burn, such as myself. And I don't think I'm going to be playing it much in the future.